Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Pitch Perfect Live from Zurich, Switzerland. I am Ayisha Gulati, and I'm joined by Jamie Spangher. Well, it's not the result we wanted to bring you this morning. England lost 2-1 to France, and Netherlands beat Wales 3-0. We're going to unpack the England game in a lot of detail. We've got a lot of clips to show you from managers, from players. We were both at the game last night. Before we jump into the game, reminder that you can do our daily quiz, which is up here, that QR code, also listed in the description on YouTube or wherever you might be listening to the podcast. The quiz is all about match day 1, so all 4 of those groups. See if you can remember what happened, cast your mind back. Because we jump straight into match day 2 today. It is non-stop, it really is, but that is part of the fun of tournament football, isn't it?
True.
As always, do get in touch, get your comments in. We love to hear from you. We also have a poll up on YouTube. Can England bounce back from this disappointment? So let us know what you think. Can England do it? I hope they can, but I want to hear what you guys have to think. Jamie, the England game, we were there. It was not the result we wanted, to say the least. There was so much hope in the air ahead of the game, wasn't there? We spoke to a lot of the fans. What was your main takeaway from last night?
My main takeaway from last night was just it was an underperformance across the pitch, wasn't it? Like you said, we spoke to a lot of fans before the game. So many Lionesses fans made the trip, and the hope in the air just really, really was significant to the fact that the team believe in themselves, but then it didn't translate on the pitch.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, before we jump into any more analysis, we have a clip from England manager Serena Wiegman speaking post-match about what went wrong.
Yeah, of course we were frustrated because, I had a bit too, we had such 3 very good weeks and we trained really well, but that's never a guarantee that, of course, you win the game. And you also know that France is a proper team too. So you have to do things really well. And we just didn't get it right at those moments. And some moments we did. I think there were parts in the game that we did well. Also moments of scoring that goal, like no one expected that to be disallowed. So we had to get out of that better too, because it was a huge surprise that it was disallowed. So those are things we take with us.
We will get on to the controversy of the disallowed goal shortly, but I think even without that, it was an underperformance, like you mentioned. What went wrong for England?
It's a very big question.
It is, I know,
across
I'm
the whole
sorry.
90 minutes. No, we need to unpack it though, because there is so many talking points in what went wrong for England. The opening 10 minutes were inspirational. Like, it's safe to say that they came out of the gates flying. They looked like they had France. They had a great press. They were organised. They were aggressive. So it felt like as soon as that goal, which we'll come on to, was disallowed, something was flattened. And I remember turning to you, I think it was about the 70th minute, and Leah Williamson goes down in a challenge, and you're 2-0 down in your Euros opener. And all 11 players or 10 players, excluding Leah, who was receiving treatment, are just dotted around, staring at their feet. You need a leader to pull you in there, give some advice. It just felt like they were lost defensively. Like, I cannot go into the fact that France were just exceptional in the channels. They smoked Jess Carter and Lucy Bronze completely. They looked like lost puppies out there. So it was a really, really poor performance that just lacked a bit of leadership and emphasis.
For sure. I thought the passing accuracy was not good enough as well. Every time we was trying to play out from the back, it just wasn't finding the right people. We're losing the ball. We've got our fullbacks running forward, which is a great part of a game. And we really do value when they get involved in those attacks. But when they're not being accurate with those attacks, then all of a sudden we're totally out of position at the back. And France just were taking advantage of that.
Yeah, considerably. And I don't know if is it a manager's miscommunication? Is it the players doing the wrong thing? Because when you head into this game, right, we're not managers, we're not players, but we could see that Delphine Cascarino and Sandy Baltimore are high pressing attackers. They're wingers, they're quick. Your fullbacks can't be pressing as much as they usually do into the front third. So whether that's a miscommunication, the manager saying we need to play our way because sometimes you do need to bend, or whether it's Lucy Bronze and Jess Carter just getting a bit ahead of themselves. But France exploited it for 90 minutes and England did not know how to correct it.
Yeah, well, we just heard from Serena Wiegman. She is quite a stickler for keeping, with her choice of team. It was the 60th minute when we saw the first subs. that felt a bit too late from from us watching there from the media. Well, what's your take on that?
Yeah, like we had that conversation at halftime. We were flabbergasted when there was no
Where are the
halftime
changes,
changes
literally?
because everything was going wrong. There was no area on that pitch that looked like it was going right. No battle that England were winning over France. So the changes came too late and they were too obvious. We, again, had another conversation where I said Chloe Kelly and Ella Toone will come on at the 60th minute and Niamh Charles had to come on because Jess Carter was playing very poorly and Cascarino was getting the better of her. So it's obvious and it's too late. But the biggest thing for me is that it's obvious. France would have prepared for that substitution. We've seen that for 24 months, that same 60th minute substitution. The subs that made the difference were the younger players. Grace Clinton and Michelle Adjumang came on. They brought on physicality. I think a lot of fans made comments of whether Ayisha Jones should have come on, but I think Adjumang was the better player in that instance just because France had England for speed. Like Ayisha Jones would have played well, but she wouldn't have won the physical battle. And Clinton brought that in the midfield, which Stanway and Toone and James couldn't do. And then Adjumang really brought it up and helped Alessia Russo, who was left on an island.
Yeah, well, we mentioned it there. Niamh Charles came on for Jess Carter, but I'm not sure whether she actually lifted that defensive battle at all, to be honest. And we were saying, what else can Serena do? And looking at the squad, it feels like maybe Maya Letitia needs to be given a chance.
I'm with you on that. I think Maya Letitia, Serena Wiegman thinks she's a right back. So, okay, you've got a fullback option there. If you think she's a right back, she should play. We saw for United. She's 22 years old, captaining Manchester United. I thought she was the best defender in the WSL. It's not like she's going to bend to the pressure. You might at a major tournament, but you need to risk that at this stage. You have everything to lose. So you have nothing to lose. You need to make those decisions. The other thing I'd maybe consider is a back three. They did it at the World Cup because Leah Williamson wasn't playing. Play wing backs, and then at least you've got the cover there. So something needs to change. And I do feel like there's no succession plan for those fullbacks right now.
Well, we mentioned Ella Toone coming on as a substitute. We have some footage from her now. As a reminder, all of these videos that we're showing you today can be found on our Haters TV YouTube channel in full. We are just showing you clips. Some of them have just gone out this morning, some from last night. So do go on there and watch them in full. But here's Ella Toone. You're in must-win territory after one game. How do you guys go forward with that mentally now?
Yeah, I mean, mentally I think we're strong anyway. We know what it takes to win tournaments, to get to finals in tournaments. We know how to play the game. And we knew that we always had to win 2 of these group games to get out. So nothing changes. Obviously, you want to win all 3. But yeah, they were good tonight. The France team were good. They had a lot of very good individuals. And yeah, we conceded goals that probably by our standards aren't good enough. But yeah, we have the mentality to go again. I mean, we'll recover as best we can and make sure that we analyse the game, take the pros, take the cons and work harder next time.
And when you say go again, what do you think is the main area that you need to work on?
I think there's a few different areas. No matter if you win or lose in games, there's always parts of the game that you can do better. I think we want to probably not concede 2 goals. And we want to keep the ball better as well, but that's always our standards. We could have won 7-0 and still there'll be things that we want to improve. So that's just the mentality that we have in this squad.
Yes, must-win territory pretty much after one game. We were saying that the goal that they scored late on could maybe be important in the sort of goal difference battle.
It's crazy that England have to rely on that, right? We didn't want to be in this situation, but here we are.
Yeah, and shout out to Kira Walsh for that goal.
I felt for it. It's a second England goal. She scored a dime and she doesn't even have time to celebrate.
Yeah,
anyway,
not the time or place
not
to celebrate.
At all. I would be very, very upset if she did.
No, of course. But there's also a question here. England went into this tournament as the champions. There's a weight of expectation that comes with them. I did actually ask all the players about that. And of course they said, no, we always want to do well. And it's not like that. But what's your take on that? Do you think it's too much pressure?
I think that when you speak to a player, they're always going to have to put up a front that the expectation's not bothering them because they don't want to tell their opponents we're stressed because the media attention's on us. So there's definitely an expectation on England. We know that, especially with the growth of the WSL. It's the most represented league in this tournament. So everyone's eyes are on England, and there's so much weighing on them right now that if they underperform, if they overperform, the media will be on their backs, fans will be on their backs, they'll be on their own backs. So expectation plays a massive part. And I think that because of England's expectation over the last couple of years, we've kind of underanalyzed their performances a little bit because the signs that we saw last night are signs that we've seen before under Serena Wiegman. And that's not saying that they're not fixable because they are, but I think that this expectation is outweighing them right now. And she's spoken about this New England. We want to make a New England. We want to forget about Euro 2022. Sometimes squads respond better to saying, hey, this is what we did, let's do it again, rather than saying it's a new time. Sometimes teams just work better when they try to replicate. And I know it's a new squad, but it feels like you're trying to go left field, but doing the same thing. And there needs to be something inspiring there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we mentioned the media sort of eyes on the players as, I guess, a good thing in the sense of it's raising women's football, but it is a lot and it's very different. You know, I was talking about the full media room the other day for England. Obviously, a lot of those journalists are not just English media now, because we were at open training, we had the Spanish journalists coming, the German journalists coming, because they're going to us, they were interviewing us, and they're saying, oh, this could be our opposition, quarterfinal, semi-final opposition we want to see. And that's definitely a lot more than they would have been seeing 3 years ago. So that in itself it's a lot to take, whether you're experienced or new. Toone also mentioned, you know, we can't concede 2 goals. It wasn't just conceding 2 goals, it was conceding 2 goals in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
The same number of goals they conceded throughout the whole of Euro 2022. Just how worrying is that?
It's incredibly worrying. And the nature that they conceded those 2 goals as well. Like I said, it's from the fullbacks, it's from them being exposed. And I think the most concerning one was the second one, because you've got Lucy Bronze up against her Chelsea teammate, Sandy Baltimore. And we've seen Sandy Baltimore do things like that all season for Chelsea, right? You know your player, you know your opposition, especially when she's your teammate. So it's a lack of focus from England. I don't think that they're completely dialed in on the opposition. I think they're so hyper-focused on this whole, we need to create a New England, we need to play out by ourselves, that they're not exploiting the opposition. I think at Euro 2022, you saw a team that knew exactly how to play against other teams. The quarterfinal against Spain, they knew that they couldn't play the ball around. They had to suffer out of possession, and they beat Spain that way. Against Germany, they knew they had to win the physical battle. Last night, they didn't play against France. They played against themselves, and it just absolutely fell through.
Yeah, and I think that also plays into other their opposition knowing them better as well, right? They were almost not an unknown quantity, but that team was quite new and we hadn't seen those combinations before. And I think that was a bit of a, that was a bit of magic, I think, that we saw. And we don't have that this time. And it's trying to figure out that balance of the old players, the new players, and how that's all working. But the other teams know us.
Yep, exactly right. It's the same thing as well. We know that Serena Wiegman, and this works for some managers, right? I'm not criticizing it in the fact that it should be binned off completely, but she doesn't budge when she has her ways, and her ways have been exploited. They were exploited at the World Cup. Like, England had a bit of a rocky run to that final, let's be honest. The Nations League, it's the same thing. They've played France a lot in the last 12 months. So if you're not going to have any element of surprise in your game plan, then it's very, very easy to exploit. And Netherlands will be licking their lips looking at that.
Yeah, I've played France a lot and not really come out the better of them. So, yeah, concerning stuff. Well, we also caught up with Jess Carter in the Mix Zone yesterday, and she talked about a lot of things. Here's a little clip, and you can catch the full clip on Haters TV YouTube. Commiserations on the result, not how you would have wanted to start the tournament. What do you think went wrong out there today?
I think it's kind of what went right, really. There wasn't. As a collective, we weren't as together as what we'd like to have done. I think we didn't really deliver our game plan the way that we wanted to. Obviously, we knew that France were a top team, so we know that we'd have to be at our best and even more to beat them. And I think that I feel like we played maybe a little bit scared today, in and out of possession. I think we were worried maybe about what their threats were rather than trying to deliver us. And I think we've got a lot to improve on for the next game in order to beat the Netherlands, but all we can do is review the game tomorrow, rest and recover, and get ready to go again.
And already in that sort of must-win territory after one game, how do you guys take that forward mentally?
I think for us it's no difference. Every game that we play in is a must-win game. We expect nothing less than winning with England, so it doesn't change now. Obviously we want to win, we need to win, but we set out to win every game in the first place. Do
you think there was a weight of expectations coming into it as the champions?
No, we didn't set. It's not about expectations. I think it's just more about we set out to deliver our own individual game plans or as a team, and I think we didn't deliver that. We didn't do what we've been working on. I think we maybe went a little bit off script, and that showed today.
And in terms of the positives, you mentioned there weren't many, but I thought the subs towards the end of the game injected quite a bit of energy. What was your take on that?
Yeah, they were incredible. When I came off, I had full belief that we would get another goal, and the subs that came on were excellent. The energy that they brought, they made me feel like that we were going to score another goal as well. And I think that is the positive to take away from it. It's the way that we finished that game. That we could have gone 2-0 down and could have gone 3 or 4-0 down, but we didn't. And staying in the game against a top team is really important. And I think that that we need to build on that last 10 minutes. It's frustrating that we waited 80 minutes to do that, but we can build on that 10 minutes and hopefully take that into the next game as well.
Definitely frustrating. I really did think there was a chance that we would find that equaliser in those last 10 minutes. It was a lot more juicy. I think Beth Mead said that we had a lot more bite to us in that final 10 minutes. But yeah, just need to bring that from the get-go, really.
Yep, exactly.
Well, that brings us to some comments. Have we got any comments coming in, Jamie?
We do. We're
good.
kind of talking about England being maybe a little bit predictable, and Jay here has said, I think Serena's over-reliance on the same midfield of Stanway and Walsh has backfired. I think that's very true. When you mark out Kira Walsh, it does feel that they don't really have an answer to that problem. And then Adam Salter has said Leah and Greenwood is interesting. The centre-back relationship is key and forged over years. Bright's absence has meant these two have been thrown together last minute. Yeah. Hardly ideal. That's another good point.
It is. But also, I would say when Leah was asked about Alex Greenwood, she said like they're really like they're like best friends off the pitch. So in some ways, I was thinking maybe there could be some good synergy. Like they've grown up playing together and then having that relationship off the pitch as well. So, but that didn't come through yesterday.
It's so hard with Leah and Alex because they're so similar and they play such good football. When they're on top of the game, they're so good together because they're both such good ball users, but they're both ball users. Millie Bright is the physical centre back, and that's why Leah and Millie Bright work so well together.
Yeah.
We won't dwell though.
We won't. Any more comments coming through?
We have got a comment about a very controversial moment in the game that says, this is from Joe, the Lionesses started great until that VAR decision. That changed the whole team mentally.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of comments like that. And we picked up on that as well because the start was so good. We thought we'd scored that very marginal offside. Which we couldn't really see in the stadium at all. We were just like, it wasn't Hemp. She looked on, Russo looked on, and then to find out it was that ball before, it was Mead. It was just a bit like, okay. And even to see it now this morning, it's like, you can't even see it.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying it's even,
I can't
you
see
can't
it.
see it. So yeah, not great. Jess Carter does actually talk about that in her interview as well, her mixed zone interview. She actually mentions, she comments on the refs, put it that way. Definitely recommend you go and catch that. She's less than complimentary about them. But we can't blame the refs for the decision because it wasn't for the performance because it was an underperformance. But what was your take on the decisions?
Honestly, I am that classic football fan that says if you play bad, you can't blame the referees. Yeah. But I did think last night it was really, really bad officiating. Yeah. There was a few challenges. I think for the second France goal, Alessia Russo gets clearly fouled in the build-up. There's a tackle on Leah Williamson that was studs up that left her a bit bruised. She has like a bruise on her back, I'm pretty sure. So it was just an under-officiating for England, but an over-officiating for France. So it's disappointing when football gets decided that way. However, at the same time, I think that the Lionesses were below average last night. They were quite tragic and they avoided their identity completely. So it's interesting because had that goal stood, I think it was a completely different game in the end, but everything looks better in hindsight.
No, for sure. And I think you said it there. Like, I think both things can be true.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a poor performance, but also maybe some decisions
were
not great. So, and managers always say you got to control the controllables.
Exactly.
And we didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, control the controllables, and then the rest will hopefully fall into place. Well, we have another final clip from last night's game. This is Beth Mead talking to the media in the mix zone post the match.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're disappointed. First game is a loss, not the ideal way you want to start a tournament. I think we started the game off really well. We had a big chance in the first minute. I think unfortunately we didn't continue that momentum throughout the game until maybe later on in the game when it was maybe a little bit too late for us.
And how much of the turning point was actually the disallowed goal in the first half? I mean, so England's performance seemed to drop off a bit after that. I mean, did that weigh on people's minds much, or?
I don't think it weighed on people's minds. It's just obviously frustrating. seeing if it was close or even if it was offside, that it was not given, which is very frustrating, but it's part of the game and we need to respond better. I thought we were in good stead at the time, and football's a game of momentum, and I don't think we dealt with it very well at times today.
But then again, you picked up momentum later on in the second half, in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
England were kind of on top, so what do you think kind of changed then?
Yeah, I think obviously personnel changes a little bit, but we had a little bit more bite about us, and I think we've got to do that from minute 1 to minute 90 now.
Excellent. And what does this mean now for the upcoming match against the Netherlands then? What you got to do then?
I mean, it was a big game as it was, but now it's an even bigger game for us as a must-win. We'll analyse this game that we've just played. We'll put ourselves in good stead, and we'll prepare the best we can for the Netherlands game.
Well, Netherlands next, but before we move to the Netherlands, just a word on how good France were, because we've sort of ripped apart England's performance, but France were exceptional, I thought.
They were exceptional. They were absolutely exceptional. They preyed on every single one of England's weaknesses, the talent that they have on that bench as well. I think there's a moment I turned to you on the press box and I see Melvin Mallard and Diani warming up, and I was like, if you're struggling for pace, you're going to struggle a little bit more now. So France did exactly what they needed.
Their subs bench is scary.
Words
were your exact words.
So yeah, France just dictated the game. They knew exactly how to play against England. They played to their strengths and they played against England's weaknesses. So kudos to them. And I think we did see this coming, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to France.
Yeah.
Are you tipping them to top the group now?
I think they will.
Yeah.
I do think they will. Yourself?
I think having seen that performance
Yeah.
yesterday, they really brought it. They really exploited England. If they do the same with the Netherlands and Wales, there's absolutely no reason why they can't go really far in this competition.
100% with you.
Well, we've got Netherlands next. Netherlands opened their campaign yesterday with a 3-0 win over Wales. That was, of course, Wales's first match in a major tournament. They, I think a lot of comments online about the chill from Welsh people, the chills when that national anthem played and stuff. So that's really beautiful. Not the result they wanted, of course, but it's their first major tournament. Viviana Miedema scoring her 100th Netherlands goal. Impressive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's look forward to England versus Netherlands and the Netherlands threat.
Yeah, so that game was really interesting because on paper it looks like a bit of a blowout, but for the first 40 minutes, Netherlands looked very, very quiet. They looked quite lackluster in their possession. So the difference here is you've got the Netherlands who they did turn it on and they ended up performing quite well, but you've got the Netherlands who are playing poorly and still managed to get a 3-0 result versus England who are playing poorly and don't actually look like they're going to score. Like 70-minute chunk of that game, they didn't look like they were going to score. So it's about taking your chances, and there's just no one better to do that than Viviana Miedema. 100 goals, top Netherlands goal scorer of all time. Not one of those goals was a penalty. Like, she is one of the best strikers women's football's ever seen, and I'm so happy for her that she got that moment. But for the Dutch right now, they've got some really good talent, and I think England need to adjust in the way that it's a completely different game to the France game. Like, it's not going to be fast-paced and physical. It's going to be technical, which might play into England's hands. However, the Dutch love that style of football.
Yeah. Well, let's do our favourite segment. We're going to open our tops.
Come
cards.
on, I need some therapy.
I need some cheering up. So
I need some tops therapy.
I need some tops therapy too. So if you're new to the show, we are trying to complete our tops sticker book. We are opening a pack each every day, and we are then swapping on our very own online swapping platform, gotswaps.club. So do sign up, do enter all the stickers that you've got, all the spares you've got, and we can hopefully swap. I did actually match with someone yesterday. We had 3 spares. I had 3 spares you needed, and you had 3 spares I needed. So whoever that person is, I've dropped a message on the chat within the swapping platform, which you can do when you sign up. So please do that. And yeah, message me back and let's swap. Let's make it happen.
I'm excited about this.
Me too. I'll go. Should I go first?
Yeah,
today?
you should go
Go on.
first.
Okay, let's have a look. Who have we got in here?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We have a Polish player, Małgorzata Mestras.
Nice.
We've got a Swiss player, Switzerland, of course, back in action today, Smilla Velotto.
Oh, get in. I'm stoked about that.
Yeah, you're a young player of the tournament, right?
Yeah.
We've got Diana Silva for Portugal. We've got Damaris Egarola for Netherlands.
Nice.
We've got Hlyn Eriksdottir for Iceland. And we have, also in action today, Iceland. And we have Kosovare Asllani for Sweden.
Nice, Sweden captain.
Swedish captain, yeah.
That's a good pack.
It is a decent pack.
Better than what we had yesterday.
Maybe one spare in there, but
All right.
we'll double check that on the platform. Gotswaps.club.
Okay, here we go. Let's hope I have more luck. I feel like I've had one good pack. Okay, Jess Fishlock, special
shiny, nice.
Happy with that. Okay, I've got Cecil Fickerstrand from Norway.
In action today.
We've got Michaela Cambiaghi from Italy, a French player. We've got Greg Mbok Bathy.
Yeah. I just had a look at that.
Aitana Von Matti.
Nice.
And not the one that we have. So now we've got both Aitanas. That's exciting. Well, she's on the ground now. So sorry. And Bern. I loved the Bern Stadium. Can I be honest? I think it's the favourite one I went to. The Young Boys Stadium. It was great.
Love getting a stadium sticker.
Yeah, right. Got to collect them all.
Stuff. Right. I think those are all new in your pack.
Come on. It's a
Exciting.
good day. It's definitely a better day than last night.
Yeah. So yeah, get on gotswaps.club. Let's keep trading. Let's all try and complete our top sticker books by the end of the tournament. Well, we've got Group A resuming tonight. These teams in action. We've got Switzerland versus Iceland, Norway versus Finland. So how do you think these ones are going to go?
I just can't believe we're back to Group A already. I feel like we were sat on this couch talking about it 3 minutes ago.
Time flies.
I'm excited about this game. Obviously, the two winners take on the two losers. So it'll be interesting to see whether Switzerland and Iceland can kind of revive their Euros tournament. I think there's some really juicy fixtures. And I'm excited for Norway to be tested against Finland because I feel like they were let off against Switzerland just because they're a bit of they're an inexperienced, very youthful team, whereas Finland have a lot more experience, a lot more heavy heads in there. So that will be a good challenge. But Group A is still gettable. I think we know who maybe will come out on top. However, I just want to watch Switzerland and I really, really want to see them succeed.
Yeah, me too. Well, talking of seeing Switzerland succeed, we caught up with some Swiss fans earlier in the week and they were so excited about hosting the Euros. And we managed to get some videos for you and here's what they had to say. How exciting is it? How special is it for this tournament to be in your country?
It's super special. I'm super excited. We've been waiting for a year at least. We're so excited, so happy to be here. First match, super excited.
I'm so excited. I've been waiting. So I've since the before the decision was made and Switzerland handed in their
the bid.
Yeah. I was so excited when they did that, and I was hoping for the day where it went live that Switzerland was hosting the Euros. I was hoping all the time that Switzerland was hosting, and now they really do, and it's so cool.
It's great. I mean, we just talked about it. It's like a once in a lifetime chance as well, and we also know somebody who plays, so it's great.
Who do you know?
Yeah, the name on the back of my shirt. It's Lia Welty, of course. Yeah, sure.
So you're going to be cheering her on, right?
Yeah, of course.
Very excited because it only happens once in our life, I think, because we took her tickets yesterday night, and with the progress of feminine football, I think it won't be ever possible again to be that late and to enjoy the competition so shortly in the time.
Because I was in England for the Euros, for the last Euros, and I'm just so excited for it to start in 2 hours or less. I'm just really excited. Yeah.
And give me a prediction. How are you guys going to do in the competition?
Ooh, I think we're gonna do better than expected. Just because it's in our home country, they better pull through. We believe in them, and I think they're gonna surprise us for sure.
I think it's definitely hard, but it's doable because our group is it's very possible for Switzerland to be in the top places. So I think they're gonna make it. I think they're gonna make it to the quarterfinals, and then the rest would just be more than a dream. So
The past results are not so good, but we trust them, and we have always have a tough past with the Swiss team, also with the men's, because it's always difficult to get out of the group stage. But I'm very confident that
In the big tournament, we are always good.
yes,
Always.
and there is sun
Yeah.
and nice people.
I absolutely loved hearing from them. They're so excited. They're so excited to be hosting, and they're feeling very confident.
Yeah, I'm feeling confident.
It's important.
Yeah, I think it's all about the spirit of being the host nation is all about excitement and hope.
Definitely. Well said. Well, before we close out, have we got any more comments coming
We
through,
do. This is a
Jamie?
great comment from Laura Howard, who was on the show yesterday.
Yes.
Who says, not sure the James gamble paid off. Bright start, but faded early. Do you think she starts against the Netherlands? What do you think?
Interesting. Yeah, we've not spoken about Lauren James actually, because
Yeah.
that was the big talking point yesterday, that she actually was fit enough to start. Serena Wiegman had hinted about it in a press conference the day before that she would start, and she did. Whether or not the gamble paid off is a tricky one to say, because that first 15 minutes where we were on fire, like she nearly scored within 30
Yep.
seconds.
Yeah.
And I literally turned to you and I was like, this is why we need James. And I do truly believe that, in the sense of like, she can bring a magic spark. But that did sort of fizzle a bit, but I think the whole team fizzled. So whether or not that was like anything to do with her not being fit enough, I'm not sure. I think that I think it was just a whole team, the level dipped, and she was like really raising the level in that first 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I agree. I think performing an autopsy on that decision isn't what we need to do right now, because she lifted the level. Like you said, that Beth Mead thing is an offside. Then she orchestrated that. She ran through the midfield. She was incredible. And also, what I'd do against the Netherlands is maybe play her on a wing, because she's not played a lot of football. So she's in the middle. You have her tracking back against France, who was so quick. Just allow her to do the creative stuff on the wing, because I think that if you've got Lauren Hempel, Alessia Russo, and Lauren James, then you can really, really hurt the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But I want to bring up one more comment from Joe, who I've actually... Here he's gone. He said, it's a must win on Wednesday. Thursday morning for me at 2 a.m., Joe. That's commitment.
Yeah, big
That is
respect
commitment.
to Joe and anyone else watching around the world, supporting the Lionesses and supporting any team around the world. Because the time zones are not easy often. And also shout out to anyone who's watching the show from a different time zone as well. Thank you very much. That just about brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Do keep getting involved in the quiz. This will keep going today. We want to see you guys at the top of the leaderboard. Get involved, and prizes to be won. And aside from that, we will see you tomorrow. Get swapping cards with us on gotswaps.club. Thank you so much for watching. Get more women's football content on Haters TV YouTube channel, and we will see you same time tomorrow.